Hi, my name is Victor Nagy and I am the product manager of the Configure group. And I would like to say why and how do we want to deprecate GitLab managed apps. For this, I'm going to share my screen here where we have an epic around this deprecation, and you can read much of this discussion in one of the issues that I put as the first issue now, but it might be get down as we close it, etc. So why are we deprecating GitLab managed apps? First of all, what are GitLab managed apps? We have two versions of GitLab managed apps. One, what we call version 1 or one-click install applications that you can find under the operations clusters menu under specific cluster. And the other that we call version 2 or CI/CD based managed apps that you can mostly find in the documentation. It's a cloud native friendly approach to installing applications. Where applications are installed using GitLab CI pipelines. Before you would get mad at me and saying that we can't deprecate, we shouldn't deprecate these things, let's see what are our directions with respect to this topic that we call GitLab managed apps, because that I think motivates pretty well why we are doing this deprecation. Our motivation is to, with GitLab managed apps, to allow our cluster operators to bring their own installations of Ingress, Prometheus, Cilium, Fluentd, etc., all the applications that are needed for the GitLab integrations. Why do we want to do that? Because this is what our users want, actually. So many of our users are experienced Kubernetes operators. They know how to install these applications. They know how to manage these applications. And we have to provide them a simple way to just integrate it with GitLab without them requiring to take over our workflows and our required approaches to all of this. So this is the direction that we want to move forward. And at the same time, we came up with a few principles that we believe are crucial in order to provide a future-proof, maintainable solution that our customers are happy to use. These principles are the following, as you can see here, and in the direction pages of the Kubernetes management category as well, is that anything that we provide for our users should be production ready, should come with production ready configurations. It shouldn't just be for a testing environment or to play with. The second principle is that they should provide functionality. They should support some GitLab functionality. These applications should integrate with GitLab. We are often approached by various open source projects who would be happy to provide their app as part of GitLab managed apps, but actually it would just be another way of installing the applications into the cluster, and there is no GitLab integration involved at all. We don't want to become a marketplace in this sense, so we are looking for applications that provide functionality for GitLab. The third principle we have is that every application that we maintain, GitLab, should have its support, dedicated support group. And it's probably not the configure group because we know nothing about Cilium, for example. And as a result, we can't even support Cilium installations. So these three topics should be checked for something to be classified as a GitLab managed app in the future. And together with bringing existing installations into GitLab and being able to use your own Ingress installation or anything or Prometheus with GitLab, we decided to deprecate what we have today, primarily the V1, that is the one-click applications. So we are going to remove one-click managed applications, and instead we are going to recommend using the CI/CD based approach, or actually I just point our users to the documentation how to install and set up an application that they can use it with GitLab. If they have the experience around that's probably the best option we can provide. And this is very important for us. So as we're deprecating, we know that we learned a lot about using the one-click install, about what our users need, and they need exactly this customizability, extensibility. They want to follow their own workflows, and with a UI-based approach, supporting this is purely impossible. With respect to CI/CD based apps, we are looking into whether it's valuable to keep them, because that is an approach that we think is kind of future-proof. So it provides the necessary customizability that our users require there. At the same time, it has a lot of requirements that we don't fulfill today, like in the case of security patches and upgrades. These might come outside of the GitLab release cycles. And how can we support that? How can we support various deployment policies so that we don't upgrade a user's runners or an ingress in the middle of their working days? All these things should be built into something that we call GitLab managed apps, and our CI-based approach falls far from these today. So what's the future with the CI-based approach? That's still an open question, but clearly our direction is to deprecate the one-click installations, provide our users with the possibility of bringing the applications that GitLab needs for its own features, and look into ways what our users actually need around how can we support our users with these applications, and if we want to do that. As we want to provide value even with this deprecation, we are going to provide an API endpoint and probably some UI as well to allow users to register the applications with GitLab. That here is where you can find my Cilium installation. This is where my Nginx ingress lives, and GitLab features can use those afterwards. Please, if you have any questions around this topic, feel free to reach out to me personally, or even better, on the Ask Configure Slack channel to the team. I'm more than happy to discuss the topic with you, especially if you depend on any of the existing applications. Then I would love to hear about you, so we can make sure that we can either support you in the future or you can be prepared for these changes. Thank you.